Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. We've got a huge update to talk about for Arena, and it's a really good one. I want to get into the specifics so you know what's going on and you know how to take advantage of it. So let's get into it. All right, so instead of the normal small patch notes we've got in the past with just a couple of changes to classes and maybe one or two other items, this is a huge patch note. So it's going to take us a little bit to get over it. Stick with me. I'll get through the whole thing. Towards the end is where there's balancing if you want to see that. If you want to fast forward to it, you'll see on the screen I'm in the actual game talking about the kits. But let's get over all of the details and the major changes. First up is Chop Shop. It's a new location that's been added to the game. Car repair shop, industrial zone of Tarkov. It used to be a place where stolen cars were stripped for parts to sell. Now it's become a gunfight arena. So they gave us a bunch of pictures. I'll flip through them here real quick. Maybe the editor will make them full screen and higher res. But these are the pictures. I haven't had a chance to play it yet. Again, I just got up this morning, looked at the pictures, looked at the notes. I will get in some time on Arena this morning after once we get started streaming. I want to give it a try and all these other changes. So that's the pictures of Chop Shop. I'll throw that link down below too, so if you want to see them yourself, you can go for it. Changes and new mechanics, ranked matchmaking changes. Now when searching for players, it matches you based not only on ARP, but also on average meta points of presets purchased in previous matches. So this is the gear score. Meta points show up as gear score here. That's what this MP is on this kit. If you see like the Vulture's 89, or if you go over to, let me go to my higher kits that I've got unlocked. My Ajax is 578, for example, or 462. So it's going to look at this in a way for matchmaking. I talked with Apple at BSG, their PR guy, or their community relations. I don't know exactly how to word that. I should look at that up better. But he stated that it's going to look back one match, and that ARP is still the primary method at which you're going to get matched, but it will do secondarily with this this meta point system. Now, he didn't answer further questions with the averaging, but I'm assuming that it's going to take your squad's average. So if you're grouped with 3 or 4 guys, the averages of your MPs are going to be what is used to help in the matchmaking process. This brings up some very interesting possibilities with how you can mix match and maybe lower your MP rating to get easier matches, which I don't necessarily think is a bad thing, but something to keep an eye out on and how it plays in. So what I mean by that is, you could have guys running the CQB kit, the Zenit, and let's say the on my scout kit, the Ajax kit, right? So you're running mid 550s with these two kits, 560, 578, so 570 plus or minus on your average. Well, then you bring somebody in who's running a craftsman kit at 348. So that puts you right about 459 average. So you can potentially tier down one depending on how everybody is doing this. And it's not necessarily a huge gimp with a kit like this or some of these others to lower your team meta point rating. Swap some, it throws up some interesting ideas for how you can mix and match a squad kits and fill each other in with different gear and swap at the start of a match. So just keep that in mind. That is part of the process now for matchmaking. I'll do some testing as best as I can and play around with it and see how it works. But again, it's only going to look back one match, it looks like. So if you play with a high level kit, even if you switch to a low level, you're going to be ranked higher, assuming you're solo. And if the next match after that, you're going to be lower, but that's kind of going to make up because you could jump back to a higher tier kit and then be matched at a lower tier. So it's going to trade back and forth on those wins losses if you look at it like that. Now, the big thing, they have added all the advanced features that we got in patch 14.0 just a day ago, have been now moved to Arena. I knew they were going to do this. I didn't expect it to be this fast, to be honest with you. I figured we were going to have a week or so. But they feel either they feel comfortable enough to do it, or they want to make sure they get some of there's a lot of public pressure of, it's so good in Tarkov, we need to have this in Arena. So that means vaulting, shoulder transitioning, as well as the new recoil have all been moved to Arena. So this is going to be big. This is going to change how a lot of your kits play. It's going to change how you move around some of the places on the map. So just keep that in mind. They do mention in here that the arena locations are not fully adapted to the vaulting mechanics yet. So if you are seeing specific bugs with, we haven't seen it yet, but like getting yeeted out of the map because of a vault or falling through the map or things like that, make sure to report those issues so that they can find them, they can track them down, and they can get them fixed. After that, control settings. All the control settings in Arena have been set to default. I don't know what this means because Arena and Tarkov seem to copy off of one another, so I'm not sure how this plays out. If you reset your keybinds already on Tarkov, I haven't checked yet to see if, I mean, I guess I can just go in here and look now to see. I'll do it with you guys live as we're looking at it to see if it has changed and given you the new settings. So for me, I put my toggle, my swap back and forth as button 5 on my mouse, and some of it's saved. So like my switch between sights is mouse 4, so that's still there. I'm looking for the shoulder swap. Yeah, so here's the shoulder transition. So this is kind of a button. I set control equal as my 5th mouse button on my Logitech G502. You can do the same thing through their app or other mouses, and that's what I set my shoulder transition. So even though it says it reset the controls, it did import them from Tarkov because they were already changed to the new systems, if that makes sense. So if you got into Tarkov, you rebound all your keys, they should show up in Arena now. If you didn't, you're probably gonna have to redo your keys. So keep that in mind. And then again, they talk about the recoil stuff being changed. Economy changes, some bigger stuff with especially the higher tiers you got. Cash rewards for winning all modes has been increased. For matches with starter presets, meta points below 300, the reward value has been increased by 10%. For matches with advanced presets above 600, and this is essentially like, thinking about that, this is only stuff like at the very bottom, mostly tier 9 and 10 kits. There's some tier 8 in here, and there might be a tier 7 that I'm not seeing, but it's mostly tier 8, 9, and 10. It's at the very bottom of the lines to get into that 600 score. Those are increased by 47%. That is huge because these kits, basically you had to win, it depended on the kit, but it was somewhere between 60 and 75% of your matches to break even with how much they cost. So this should be a good balancing thing to that. Once all this settles out, essentially you want like a little over 50% to basically break even. If you're winning 60, 70% of your matches, you should be making money and ranking up. That's kind of where I feel that this stuff should sit. You can, I could be wrong. You could have different opinions. That doesn't matter. My point being is this is a move in the right direction. And with that, they changed stuff in shootout. 2 versus 2, 3 versus 3. The reward values have been further increased and are 15% higher than team fight mode. So this is a reward to go into shootout. If you're not a 5-stack or a 4-stack, if you got a 2-man or 3-man, go play shootout. You can get higher cash rewards there. And then they balance 3 versus 3 to be more relative to 2v2, so one's not better than the other. I didn't notice that, but I didn't play it a whole lot either. I think I got 2 matches of shootout in like total. Now moving to experience, rewards have been increased from kills from 100 to 250. This is really good. The experience was on the lacking side. Basically, if you didn't win matches, you didn't really get experience, even if you like fragged out. So this to me is a really good change because the better you play, the more experience you get in relative to just win or loss. So headshots are also increased from 150 to 250. Double kills from 100 to 150, which I didn't even realize that was XP. So that's cool. I think that's a good thing. Triple kills, 150 to 200 awarded in addition to the experience awarded from 3 or more kills. So it's just more XP on top. Objective catch or team fight is 150 to 300. Good change. That should be really rewarding to get those done because it's harder. Shootout is 100 to 200, and a defeat if you lose in team fight, instead of 3,000, you get 3,500. So even on the back end, the losing end, you're getting a little bit more XP regardless. Experience have been decreased for team fight. Victory 650 to 5,500. Shootout 67 to 55, 42 to 35, 32 to 25. So this is, you're not going to be able to get carried as much is the way I look at this. If you win and you don't get a bunch of kills, if you don't frag out, you are not going to get carried nearly through the ranks nearly as much as if you had done better. So that's how I kind of see this as just more balancing, is them lowering these winning XP things from the different matches to the point where in shootout where it's ranked or where you have places, you're not getting any XP if you take 5th place. So keep that in mind. Now with rating, amount of rating received has been changed only in shootout in 2 versus 2 and 3 versus 3. That is, first place is now 30, second place is 15, third is -5, fourth is -15, fifth is -25. First place in 3 versus 3 is +30, second place +15, third place -15, fourth place -30. So keep those in mind for that whole process. Balance changes to presets. So we'll get into this here real quick. They changed Cobra Zenith, Breeze, Cracksman, Climber, and Click. And I'll go look at the kits specifically to talk about them. First off is Zenith and QCB. This is the Alton kit. They lowered the armor. So the Reddit used to be at 80 and they lowered it to 56. So they're not going to be nearly as beefy as they were before, especially when fighting each other, since this thing only has BT. When 2 Alton guys go at each other, it was kind of like guys beating each other with pool noodles. The BT is going to have a much easier time getting through this Reddit now. So that's really going to modify if you're a Zenith class or fighting against them. They're not anywhere near as tanky as they were because of that change. So keep that in mind. Under Assault, we'll go look at Breeze. He got the 5.7 ammo was changed from SS 193 to 190, so substantially better ammo for that, and they added a flashlight to it. So it just depends on if you're using your pistol all that much or not. This might not even, you might scoff at this, but it is a pretty significant change when it comes to the pistol and the ability to get through face shields and stuff like that. So keep that in mind. At the Scout kit, one change here, and it was with the Cobra kit, which is the Asval kit, or as we've all probably become very familiar with. This thing is a monster kit. They removed the class 5 HPC you had and put a class 4 Thor. This is a very bottom end class 4. You're going to get through this really quickly. This guy is even more of a glass cannon than he was before. He's not going to take a lot of hits. So that is where we're sitting there. Now, the rest of these have done in Marksman. This is the first real balances they've done to Marksman, and they're all on the bolt, the single shot tree. So Cracksman, they moved the Keter from 20 rounders to 30 rounders, but you have 3 of those. On the Climber, same deal. The MP5 now has 30 rounders instead of 20 rounders, just fewer mags all in. Not that big of a deal, but they also added additional M62 to your pockets for that Climber class. And then the last one is Click. For this one, they put a flashlight and a laser on the SR2, which is already really good, but now it's even better with that. And they put an L-can in your inventory. So on your SV98, you're not forced into that crazy big scope if you don't like it. Some people like it, some people don't, but now you have a 1 to 4 or 1 to 6, 1 to 4, 1 to 4 scope that you can slap on the SV98 if you would like. So that's the kit balancing. That's all of the kit balancing they did there. Let's get back to the patch notes. List of changes. There's some big stuff in here. So game systems have been optimized to increase FPS in systems with weak CPUs. So I know some people were complaining about performance. It looks like they did some more optimizations. That's good. Check it out if you were having trouble. See if your game's running better. They reduced the loudness of sounds in kill cam. So this kill cam is specific, right? But I'm betting that this applies. I haven't had a chance to check, but the observer camera as well, because they kind of work the same. So the sounds in the kill cam are going to be quieter, so you're not going to hear as much, hopefully more in line with what the actual player is hearing. I don't know if they've got there yet, but we'll see. Reduce the loudness of music between rounds. So there's a few places, especially at the end of the match, where the music would just blare. So more fine tuning and adjusting there is good. Disabled kill cam after death from cleanup crew. Not sure why they did that. I don't know if they just don't want us to see how absolutely broken the AI is, because that's kind of what you got when you watched. If you died to the cleanup crew, you got to see some pretty crazy shit from the kill cam. So I'm not. They disabled that. Not sure why, but you don't get to see it anymore. Fix the issues of environment culling on various locations. To me, this is the exploit, the one that I kind of went on a crusade against. People that could lean into places and see through the map. That's culling, right? So hopefully they have fixed a bunch of those. There was tons of them. Not a lot of them are super popular, and they're a little bit harder to do, and they're not as viable as, say, the one that was on Bay 5 by the Porta-Johns that you could literally just run out of spawn and watch the other team. So if you see those, make sure you're reporting them so that BSG can get them fixed. They're almost always location specific, like actual, not just the map, but the actual specific point in the map. And they can't fix them without somebody showing them to them. So for me, I won't show these on stream. I don't do videos showing them because it just makes them used more. And instead of BSG being able to kind of ignore them because they're not a big deal. Now they have to shift resources and work on them. So if you do find them, please don't share them with folks. Just give them to BSG so they can fix them and not become super popular in the community and just ruin the game for anybody else trying to play competitively. That's my plead for that. That's all I'll say there anymore anyways, I guess. They fixed the issue causing some players to jump out of spawn area before the gates were open. The wording in this is funny to me. It wasn't forcing people to jump out. People were selectively doing this. But on Sawmill specifically, you could get out of the starter area before the match started. So they addressed that. You can't do that anymore. My guess is they just raised the wall or they put an invisible barrier there, where I think a funnier change would have been that there were some out of bounds snipers that would kill you if you did it. I think that would have been a better fix. I would have much approved that, but that's probably a lot of work. And then you have the problem of probably getting sniped on accident when the gate opens, you know, so probably for the better they did it their way. Fix the issues causing kill cam to display incorrectly. This could mean any number of things, so we'll have to check and see what it is. This could be, you know, just little bits you're off where you're aiming, or maybe where you don't get to see the kill cam at the end of the match, or who knows what. So we'll see where that comes up. Fixed an issue causing scopes on weapons to display incorrectly in spectator mode. You've all seen this, somebody ADSs and you're like looking at their barrel or something weird. So that's good that they fixed that, so you can actually watch what your teammates are doing now. Fixed an issue where a group would start matching without a member who had not left the previous game. The group member would not receive a confirmation notification for the found game. So if you were the party leader, this is super annoying, and not everybody had backed out of the last match, like they were looking at their stats or something, and you started, it would pull everybody in the next match. It would say everybody was matching. You'd load in, but that player wouldn't be there, and you'd have to go through a whole match without your teammates. So they fixed that. Good. Something that helps out people that are group leaders a ton. Fixed an issue where a player character hands were displayed incorrectly in the spawn area, causing the use of weapons to be unavailable until the end of the round. Saw this bug once. I know it affected people. It sucked, so good fix. Fixed an issue with matchmaker where when a player lost connection to the game, the matchmaker would not reset the match and players could play the match with an incomplete matchup. So we did see this. I played one 3v5. Thank God I was on the 5 side. Sucks for the guys on the 3 side that it didn't reset. It didn't let them back out, and it should have made the match not count. But we just rolled over them and got free XP, and they lost the match. And so fixing that is a good thing. Fixed an issue where players on the losing team who closed the game on the final statistics screen did not lose rating and money. I didn't know that was a bug. That's kind of a crazy bug that could happen. I would bet dimes to dollars there's a lot of people that were climbing the ranks that were doing that cheesy method, which is a shitty thing to do, but people do shitty stuff. Fixed an issue that causes players players added as friends to not be displayed in the friends list. So that was an issue from day one. There was a couple of workarounds with it, but they got it fixed, so hopefully no more problems with that. And then the last one, fixed several UI issues related to incorrect display of information and text and tooltips, just the UI stuff. So that's the overall patches. I'm going to give this a pretty good run today, play quite a few matches, see how the new MP system works, if I can actually play. Like, I'm going to legit, even though I'm at 2200, which I know is not super high, but it's high enough that you're fighting tier 6, 7, sometimes even 8 and 9 kits. I'm going to go give some of these lower classes that I haven't leveled up, like the Cracksman, maybe start my assault tree again with Stiletto, or come over here and see how that actually matches up and if it makes sense. And I'll report back to you guys how it works out. But that wraps up the video. Thank you guys for watching. As always, at the end, shout out for my music down below. Make it in conjunction with Low Wave Records. It's free. It supports me as a content creator. If you're a content creator, you can use it in your YouTube videos and your streams without the fear of DMCA or copyright strikes. All we ask is that you attribute us so people know where they found it. So go give it a listen. Let me know what songs you really like. We're at like 180 or 190 now. The couple of albums in there are really, really good. I listen to it all the time, even though I know it's my music, but it's not just cheesy lo-fi music in the background. It's pretty good stuff. Well, we'll wrap her up there. Thank you guys again for watching. I wish you the best of luck in your arena battles, and we'll see you in Tarkov.